Hey, boys and girls, it is Tuesday, May 5th today, and I want to share a story with you that you read last week. So, last week with Mr. Scott, you read Can Do Jenny Archer. Let me actually pull it up here. And with Mr. Scott, you're answering some questions. Today, what we're going to do with this article, Can Do Jenny Archer, is we're basically going to do a retell of the story. Now, we're going to do things a little bit, excuse me, we're going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm going to read the article to you, right? And then on your own, you're going to plan it out. But I'm actually going to stop periodically through the article, and I'm going to say this is probably a good beginning events thing, and you're going to put it in beginning events. Or I'm going to do the same for middle. I'm going to say, well, there's probably something in there for your middle events. You want to put that in middle and end. But all in all, I want you to remember as we're doing this that we're basically doing a retell of our story. Okay, so I'm going to highlight retell. So when you're planning out your thing today, I want you to do a beginning, middle, and end. Now, you don't have to do it exactly like mine. You might wanna put it beginning. Let's see here, beginning, middle, end, or beginning, middle, and end. But again, for this, you shouldn't be doing just three box and bullets. This might require one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, three. Right? We really want to stretch this out because we're again doing a retell of the story. So the question or the prompt here. Let me actually write the prompt. I'm asking you is what happened in the story. Um, what happened in the story can do Jenny Archer? I will have that in um, Seesaw for you all to also take a look at as well. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and let's read what happened. Or sorry, let's read Can Do Jenny Archer and think about what's happening during that. I'm going to stop periodically and help you fill in your plan, and then you're going to do your plan. Let's go and let's get started. I have some exciting news for the class, said Mrs. Pike. It was almost lunchtime, and Jenny Archer was starving. She drew a piece of apple pie in her notebook. Sometimes uh, Mrs. Pike's exciting news wasn't very exciting. Once Miss Pike had said it would be exciting to watch a film strip called Tommy Tooth and the Whole Truth About Teeth, but it wasn't. She said it would be exciting to study how wheat turned into bread, but it wasn't. Jenny drew a scoop of ice cream on apple pie. We're going to have a contest, said Mrs. Pike. Jenny put down her pencil. She pushed back her glasses on her nose. The whole school will take part in it. Mrs. Pike went on. You're going to collect empty tin cans to sell to a scrap metal dealer. We'll use the money to buy a video camcorder and TV monitor for the school. What kind of contest is that? Said Clifford Stem. Just collecting cans? The class collects the most cans, so Mrs. Pike will use the camcorder first, and we will make our own movie. You could all be stars. Let's stop here and let's take a look at paragraphs 1 through 10. I think in there's one or two pieces of evidence that you could highlight and put in to a plan to start retelling your story. So go ahead right now. Just take a look at paragraphs 1 through 10, and there's some important information. Remember, when we're retelling, we usually want to introduce characters and setting and not quite get into the problem yet. That's usually in the middle. But there is some introductory information we want in there. So why don't you go ahead and do that? I'll give you a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, you might not be there yet, but I definitely want to introduce some of these things. So I want to talk about the class. So there's a class going on. It's Mrs. Pike's class, um, and we know that Mrs. Pike introduces ideas sometimes that aren't exciting, but this one is. So I'm going to say Mrs. and I'm not writing a complete sentence. So I'm just going to say Mrs. Pike introduces contest ideas, and I'm going to do dot dot dot. Let's contest ideas. I'm gonna do a little note here. Some exciting, some not. And then I really like this bit here where it said we're gonna have a contest. Um, I like this bit where you could tell that something's different about this one because Jenny pushes back her glasses, right? So I think I'm gonna actually add that in there. I'm gonna say Jenny pushes back glasses because now we're introducing the character. And then we need to introduce what the contest is. So we sit down here to paragraph 10. The class collects the most tins, so Mrs. Pike will use the class camera to make a movie. So I'm going to underline that, and I'm going to put that in here. So um, we're going to say collect tins to buy camera, make right? Not even a complete sentence. You can see how much I have here for the beginning event. I just want to introduce what's happening. So I'm going to say Miss Pike has some ideas, right? Number one, some are exciting, some are not. Jenny's pushing back her glasses. We know something's different. We can then introduce Jenny and who she is, and then the whole purpose of this is to collect cans and buy a movie camera to make a movie. Okay, let's continue on paragraph 11, and then we're stopped and we're playing out our middle events. Let's go ahead and let's continue reading. Again, as you are reading with me, you should be jotting these down, but I'll give you time at the end as well. Me, a movie star, Jenny thought. Now that was exciting. She pictured herself accepting an Academy Award. She would say, "It all started when I was little in school. The person in the class who brings in the most cans will direct the first movie," Mrs. Pike finished. Wow, directing a movie might even be better than starring in one. The director could make up the whole story. He would choose the actors and tell everybody what to do. Jenny loved to make up stories. She was all good at telling people what to do. She was sure she'd be a great director. The whole class was buzzing now. Jenny forgot she was starving. She looked over at her friend Beth, and Beth's eyes were bright. She thought this was a great idea too. "You can be in my movie," Jenny whispered to her. "What do you mean, your movie?" Beth asked. "When I win the contest," Jenny said. "Well, what if I win the contest?" Beth said. Let's go ahead and let's pause here at paragraph 19. So we read from paragraph 10. Let me highlight this for you. Down to it's paragraph 11, down to paragraph 19. And this is kind of the middle events of our story. So you should have some evidence in here. One, two ideas. I want you to jot those down in the middle events. What's happening in the middle of our story? What's the problem? Don't talk about how it's getting solved yet. What's the problem? And then we're save how the problem's solved for our end events. Let's move that up. Give me another minute. If not, just pause the video. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with my middle events. I like this paragraph or sentence right here in paragraph 12. The person in the class who brings in the most cans will direct the first movie. So now we get to the actual meat of the per se of the piece, and Jenny then chimes in, "Well, directing a movie might be better than starring in one." I'm going to highlight that as well. Now I'm going to put um, and I'm going to say person who wins contest. Let's say contest winner. I'm gonna put will direct movie. Okay, right? Not a complete sentence, but we know the person, now doing this will be able to direct the movie. Let's go back and let's add now Jenny. Jenny wants to direct. She really wants to direct. So I'm gonna add an exclamation point. And now, what's the problem in the story? Can you think to yourself, what's the problem? Jenny has a best friend, and there's something. Whoops, something going on here. Beth also wants to direct the movie, and they are now having this conflict between the friendship. So Jenny and Beth both, oops, both want to direct movie, and um, let's say don't know what to do about it. Right. So again, we're just taking this right out of the text. When I win the contest, Jenny said, "Well, what if I won the contest?" And we said we were going to read down here. Um, we can highlight this. What do you mean your movie? We can highlight that. All of that ties into that piece of evidence. Let's go ahead and let's finish our passage up today, our plan. Let's read paragraph 20 to 29, and let's jot our end events down. "But I have to win," answered Jenny. "I've always wanted to make a movie." "Since when?" "Well, I just realized it now," Jenny admitted, "but don't you think I make a good director?" "I thought I make a good director," Beth said. "Why should you be the only one to direct or be a director?" Beth was one of Jenny's two best friends, and Jenny didn't want to fight with her, but she really wanted to win the contest. She just had to direct the class movie. Yet somebody, when she, sorry, yet someday when she was a famous movie maker, she would still want to Beth to be her friend. "Let's not fight," Jenny said. "We'll both be good directors." "You're right," Beth grinned. "We won't fight. Let's just say, may the best can collector win." Jenny shook Beth's hand. "As long as it's time," she told herself. Sorry, the cat's trying to now get in the room again. Let's go ahead and let's find our events here to kind of summarize the story. We know the problem in the story is Beth and Jenny get into this like tussle. how is that resolved at the end of our story? So go ahead and find that piece of evidence or pieces of evidence and put that in your end event. So this one, I'm actually only going to highlight one piece of evidence, and I'm just going to really do a lot of stretching out in my end events here. But I like the let's not fight. Jenny said we'll both be good directors, and Beth grins. We both fight. Let's just say the best can collector win. I'm going to highlight this and say they kind of Jenny and Beth agree to be nice and fair to each other and let the best can collector win. I know what that means. I know that they're saying, well, whoever collects the most cans is going to get strict, and we're not going to let our friendship be in the way with that. Now, I know that because I wrote this. Yours is going to look different than mine, but again, make sure that you're stretching it out enough so that when you actually go write it tomorrow, that you understand your plan. That's all we have time for today, friends. Make sure that you're highlighting evidence when you're doing this. Make sure that you're submitting um, all of these. And let's share out one. So we did our Star Wars. I don't know if you can see that. Our Star Wars today, and there were a bunch of Mad Libs. They're still coming in right now. It's a little early, actually Monday, that I'm shooting this video for you. This was Jets, Jeremy Tang from Easterns. And let me just read you one of the Mad Libs from today, which is actually Monday, May 4th. May the Force be with you. Star Wars is a big wars of good versus evil in space far, far away. There are hard battles between daring rescues in cold space and dangerous duels with swords called hot sabers. Robots called droids are helpers, guides to the heroes. A superpower called the Force helps people do brave things like lift cookie jars. The Jedi save the day and use the Force for the good side, and the Sith move it for the hero side. Very nice job with your Mad Libs today, Jet. Um, Boys and girls, I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great day, and if you have any questions, make sure you contact your teacher. This is Mr. Gilbert signing out.